Welcome, crypto media friends. We are here on another Overtime Monday after a long weekend that saw just NFT land explode with an incredible amount of projects, incredible amount of activity in so many areas. But just wanted to cover the good stuff. Honestly, there's like so much out there, and sometimes I'll catch wind of other projects and. I vet these for you. Like I get into it was just so much crap that's out there, and you sort of see these people who are trying to present their channel as some sort of investment channel. This is not that channel. This is for like holders, diamond freaking hands, people who want to be engaged in communities, and want to see growth in this space. You just happen to be worth a lot of money, when you hold on to certain things for a while and have the diamond hands. That's why they're called diamond hands. That's why they're not called patent leather hands. These are hands that when you hold on to something strong and you believe in something. Those are the projects I'm looking for to deliver for you. Please subscribe, hit the bell notification, because then I can't talk to you about monkeys if you don't know about the Animonkeys. And you're going to find out way too late, and you're going to be really pissed off that you didn't understand it, or at least have wind of it, so that you could do your own research, because that's what this is. It's fun stuff. And so I'm going to talk about Cabones. My gosh, holy cow, guys. This project is super hype. This had 20 some and then some thousand in the Discord. It was one of those that looked like it was just gonna launch in a huge way, and it did. And it had all the markings. The community had a good an interesting attitude. This sort of old mafia gangster sort of thing. I thought it was cool. I think the art is interesting. It's getting tougher and tougher, honestly. You look at the peaks, because they have the things that they're going to promote with, but you really have to stick to the Discords and look at the sneak peeks to get an idea of, I think, for me, the excitement of the art and how the rarities match up to give potentially very interesting looking pieces to collect. And so, here's no exception. I think the art was fun and has an interesting vibe and a heck of a big community. There's no way this is a rug pull, right? A lot of people found out that they were having problems, and it was very interesting to observe across being connected to multiple Discords, because this project realized they were in trouble, and I think they had a certain number of reveals, and then what's great is it's extended the reveal stage, guys. I keep telling you, there's two opportunities to invest in the quote-unquote gamble stage, and that's on mint, and that's on secondary sales in the pre-reveal stage. And it's a great stage because the gas has already been priced in, and here a lot of people, they were excited and they hit the marketplace with it, and then you see the the reveal's been delayed. Okay. If you don't speak up and are connected to your community and are transparent and honest with your community, it's going to make you seem skeevy. And this is what it did, sadly, for this project. They didn't know what to do, and they were freaking out. So they started going to other projects and asking other mods for help. I think certain ones were very cool about it, and they said, look, we're not going to foot on them, but they are asking for our help, and and others were a bit cruel, and like these guys are reaching out. This is crazy. There must be something wrong here, but I think everyone was identifying that there's something wrong with the project technically, and if you look at if you've seen previous episodes, sort of this idea of creating the contracts and not them not being most quality in terms of programming, because of the ease in which they're trying to purvey this type of technology as a sort of pull from a boilerplate, insert your drawing here, might not apply to everybody. And I think that this is the thing is there was a lot of accusations and things of that nature. I can't think of a project that's launched. I think Oni's probably got away with most, in terms of like, forgiveness for any sort of like hiccups, but like, Vogu was very, very, I mean, you could look at, my live action as I was going through it. I was like, this sucks, and, this is so messed up. Like, we're putting our money, I lost so much money in gas. I lost actual transactions, because I tried to let them die on the vine as prescribed by, the mods there. This is all new technology, guys, and you could lose your shirt. I think in this scenario, Cabones, it's not that serious. I think this is actually, for me, a buy opportunity. I'm just like, I'm looking at this project. I'm like, okay, they had a tough time, during their mint, and a lot of projects do. They really do, and and they sort of ask forgiveness by giving a longer reveal stage, and they can make up for it. Whether that's, at this stage that you have it, it's on contract. That's your NFT. There's no going away from that. Like it's record, it's public record. You can access it on EtherScan as proof. And so now they just got to get it to you. Now they can get it to you in a bunch of different ways. They could airdrop it to you. They could email it to you. I don't know, but like I guess you wouldn't want to do that precisely, but for the reasons of being on blockchain. But you have ways of doing it within the system, and so now it's just a delivery problem. And they're looking to try and resolve it. Unfortunately, it's dragged the price down, just the average price, nearly 50%. So, tough day for that project. But maybe the lesson here, from the perspective of creators is to be like, hey, guys, look, that's what Vogue do. Vogue was like, dude, like, we don't know what we're doing, kind of. And things are going really bad. They jumped right up on audio feed, and we're just like, look, we don't think we're going to be able to do this today. We're going to try and do this again tomorrow. I mean, that's just brutal. That's really hard to do. And so here in Discord, I think people began to piece it together, which was weird because now you're leaving, some of your mods to try and, pull this together, pull the narrative together, and that this isn't a rug pull, and that all of your money is gone. And so, and it's funny, you have this, as I was talking about in previous episodes, you have the, sort of the rah-rahs in there that want to try and control the floor, control the pricing, thereby controlling their investment in the project. And I get it, it's fair. But just know that there is constant manipulation within these projects that, to me, I think seems a bit unfair from, the outside looking in. You're like, oh, well, this is, 4 ETH. This must be a very good project. And, suddenly you're like, the next day it's 3. You're like, what happened there? There's a lot of movement. And, I think that each project is trying to control that movement and, to a very strong degree. And that's just part of the space, I think. So it's imperative that you get on the Discords so that you are connected to these projects, because if you try and ape into some of these things, let's just imagine, sort of the worst case scenario for the sevens. Like, I think it's a strong team and it's going to be fine. But, just imagine this is what happened with Cabones. It's like, this is one of those projects that was really, really highly touted. Massive following and going into the mint. And so for them to collapse like this, not communicate, you can see this project's going to have to fight back. Now, will it? Yeah. You're just being presented with a buying opportunity if you're a collector. If you really like the art, now you might like it a bit better at 50% off. And so you're still in that very speculative space of like, you could go ahead and grab one of these pre-reveal, and it could be like, the most rare of the collection. You have no idea, or at least top 100. I always have I'm like, who the hell really mints like a one of the 10,000 or one of 7,000. So it's tough day for Cabones. I think they're gonna, it's not a rug pull. They're just trying to figure it out. This new technology, like this guy, he thought he got scammed by looking at. We were looking at other wallets too. He was looking at Alex Becker's wallet. Not a bad wallet to look at, but know that projects can drop anything they want in there. Geez, maybe I should share mine. Share. Just a reminder to share and subscribe, but also share projects that you're into, and we can discuss them as we go. They're gonna recover. I think the pricing is gonna be an opportune moment for people who want to get in on the project. And they have till September 4th for that reveal, so they got a good 5 days, which Space Poggers was long. They're legit projects. They're just technically they don't have everything they need in terms of support, and so it's interesting how they tried to push out into support from other projects, which I thought was endearing, but they didn't communicate that they were doing that, and by doing that they were freaking out their own fan base. So it's not like you can. I think that's the thing is we're all in these discords. Like if you're a member of one, you're probably a member of the other, and vice versa. And so to have the idea that you're creating your own little isolated playground, and you can cause mischief, and you can be secretive of who you are. You don't even have to reveal your name, and then you can go to another Discord and be like, guys, holy crap, I need some help, and we really screwed up, without telling the people in the sandbox. It's almost kind of dumb. Not dumb, but I think it's a mistake in terms of being forward with your audience, because that's what this space is about, is connection. And by them violating that, hey, do you trust in them as much anymore? I don't think this is a rug pull, but this is the problem with, and I'll go over later for NETVRK, my sort of IDO. It's I'm really focused on obviously the NFTs and MetaVerse, but really interesting IDO that's in that space, that has actual people. You click on it. Somebody was sharing another thing on the boards was just this very interesting. I forget what it was. It was a platform of some sort, and you're like, oh wow, this could be an exchange. It was an NFT exchange, and the case being oh gosh, it could take up OpenSea's market share. OpenSea's market share is 98%. They took $3 billion this month. They thought they were going to do 1.25. They got to mid-month. They were we're going to do 2. They got to the end of this month, and we're going to do $3 billion. This is so much more than they could have ever anticipated. There's 37 people sitting there, oh my gosh, just getting heaped on, and you can see it in the poor website's interface is just so slow, and it's clunking down, and I think they're going to get the right people. Obviously, they're New York based. They're reaching out to people in the Bay and all over the world, to give them better development and better readiness to handle what is just an insanely massive marketplace on a monthly basis. But kudos to them. They've cleaned up a lot, because man, I did not like OpenSea about 6 months ago or so, 7. It was just horrible, because just the way the format is simple, and that's okay. But when you had all of those people who were day trading it, and bidding on it, and you can see some of that now to some degree, but in the previous version, it would clog down all the other information. And so when you were trying to analyze, a piece, it was just all you would see is just the people who were in there day trading it and bidding it, and doing these micro moves up and down the value chain to make their money. And it was just hard to read and hard to understand value. And so they've done some very nice things to simplify things, and 98% of the market, it's insane. Are their chains gonna progress and that market share overall deteriorate? Yes. But is it going to be of a project that when you click on their faces, they look like people that you got on some livestock photo, like, just dropped it in there, of names that have no link, no nothing. That's what I want to compare, that project with when I look at network. Let's jump into that because I'm so jacked up about network. Insane in terms of the visuals that they're able to bring and to demonstrate here. I think they know their market. There's a lot of smart people here in this project, and they understand the problem, the lack of quality content. It's tough in VR because you have about a 20-minute window before somebody literally physically feels sick, until they build up a tolerance. That's about the average. And so, when you're dealing with that, like, you got to keep somebody engaged, just long enough to begin pushing those thresholds. And, I just haven't seen very many things. I've been going to, pre-COVID, obviously, film festivals to look at some of this technology and look at some of the best of the best. And it's not great. So what they're going to do is they're going to try and allow basically content creators like us the tools to create in the metaverse. And so that's pretty huge because, again, you don't have to know programming. When you get into this stuff, it's like, if somebody can simplify it down to sort of, the Roblox, as I sort of always say, here we're talking about the staking, but like, if you can break it down to something that's just super simple to not even program, but to shape and to bring creation to a space, to allow creators to create spaces, to create games even, and so you can do a nice tag game with this laser tag, just for your crew. And so there's some very exciting tools involved in what NETVRK is doing. And so I feel like I would sound like a bad guy. Let me take it as a NETVRK. How can you not say that without just sounding like a bad guy from a Stallone movie? So, the opportunities to get in on this is going to be this is just round one. There's no way to get into this right now. This is a bit of a longer term play, but it's going to take some time. But I wanted to show you guys because they did drop yesterday, and so the way to do it is to get into the launch pads that they're going to do. And so those launch pads are like galleries in a sense. And so maybe look into Superfarm, Elio Trades' project, which is super strong, and that's going to be a scary platform, because when you have an ability to launch a project with sort of his voice amplifying it, as powerful as it is, honestly, if he blurbs and blurts out a coin, that thing is going to double. And so here you have games that want to start out, and metaverses that want to start out, and they need a platform. They need sort of a hype train. They need a lot of tools in order to get through the chatter, through the noise, and into that's what these great platforms offer, is an ability to have an audience of investors. And so they just make the announcement, oh hey, if you stake with us, this is TrustPad that hosted this launchpad. If you stake with TrustPad, for 90 days, 150 days, what have you, you're going to have access. Now you're going to have to do about, I think it was 10,000. There's certain levels: 10,000, 30,000, 100,000 in terms of roughly translating how much TrustPad coin you needed to be able to then enter the ability to buy land. And this is, I was a bit angry that I wasn't up on this, as well as I could be, because I'll have to buy it secondary. But like, they're what they're doing is they're selling, the heart of their world in a sense. And so just the primo land, is going. And so, but like I said, this is one of the launch pads. And so they're going to do probably two more. And, at different launch pads, which I found very interesting. I was talking to one of the mods and, just talking about, this process and this is just one of the launch pads that they're going to use. So they're going to use several because this project is massive. And at each level, they're just going to offer sort of outer rings, if you will. So right now they've sold off really just at the heart of their world. There's a series of islands right at the heart of their world. And then like the next round, the next launch pad will be that next ring around it, and and so on and so forth. And so eventually you can get in there at some point. If you you'll hear it here because I'll be mentioning when the so like and subscribe. I'll be mentioning when the next launch pad, where it's going to be, who's it going to be, and definitely when. I believe it was mid-September that they were looking for their next launch pad. And so that being said, you'll have to stake with the launch pad. So it's like saying like, oh yeah, super farm, I'm going to buy 10,000 tokens of super farm and I'm going to stake it with into this holding for 150 days, but I'm going to get 40% APY back. And so it's it's a nice way to put your money where your money, and at the same time giving you access to buy the land, which, as we all know, becomes NFTs, and they become insanely expensive. If you've been watching Decentraland, I was kind of cheesed that they put Bondly into their partners area. I was like, oh, this is a very good project. And then I saw Bondly, and I'm like, why would you leave that there? Bondly is really suffering from some very bad times right now, and maybe I'll do a roundup on Bondly. But like of the bags that sort of I hold, it was just one of those. There was just like a big hole in it, and just like Bondly is just such an ugly state right now because of their hack and people. Saying that this could have been, an inside thing because, he didn't have anything going on, and a lot of his vision, he wasn't executing. I think it was, I really say he because it was just like he was the face of that, and you just never really saw much else in terms of a team. So it was just kind of always him in a room, his bedroom or something. So anywho, no big FUD, but to have Bondly associated with it, for me, I was just like, well, guys, come on. A little bit tone deaf, but certainly Singularity. And also I found a ride chain, and so very, very interesting partnerships with AI. And here's where I got excited as well, because I started researching who they were partnering with, like Singularity and Arai Chain, and those are coins I hold as well, because I believe in the very, very long term. This is so very long term. Don't buy these coins now, or look for weaknesses in these prices, because if you look at sort of what they're doing in the markets they're going after, if they win out, it's insane how much of a market there is for this technology that they're pursuing. So I looked at this and I was like, okay, well, you get a lot of these, and immediately it's different. You have, not just the things, but it was like, oh, co-founder and Ferrum Networks, and so there's associations to other things, and you have they're not putting their TARs, or some sort of, mask over their face. You're like, okay, real people, all right. And then so we go and check, you can go and check these out. It's sort of the old school IDO thing of hey, there's a LinkedIn. I mean, that's and here, this dude, Jay Schindel, is a USC alumni. And you're like, okay, cool. He went to cinema as well. This is interesting. And so, Sorry to my friends who are just getting blown up on the side there, but it's just like, oh hey, there's a mutual friend there. There's like, people we know, and it seems like they met at Nomen School for the Visual Arts, and decided to make this project together. And you can see, okay, this is where the team met. I understand this, and I can piece this together and understand the story of this project a bit better, and I'm not afraid that they're gonna run out. And so and I think Jay has like significant experience in the entertainment space, and so he's that person who's bringing a lot of the aesthetic and a lot of the tech know-how into this, and I don't have the proper video playing here, but guys, go check out NETVRK's intro video. It's legit like this. You can tell that they've been working hard on the world building, and this is something they've been doing for 3 years. So this isn't as sometimes you can get a sense that people are just using the Minecraft style of pulling things together. They may be using those types of tools, but what they're doing is they're shaping those tools so that us as content creators can devise our own imprints onto the space. And I think they're doing it in a very easy to understand way, and making that part of it even gamified, so it's not like really a drag to build, because sometimes I can just be like, I don't know, not fun, honestly. Like you want me to build a whole world? Okay, let me go ahead and get that tool, and you're like, okay, now I need the big axe, and you start like pick, okay, oh, I need a tree here, let me go get the tree modifier, and then like we plant it here, oh god, it doesn't quite work until I make 4 parcels in a row, okay. And so you really have to learn how to work around it. I think they've been working a lot for the last 3 years on how to make this very engaging, and it's very exciting looking at the tools that they're going to give creators. And me, this is kind of what I'm here for. I'm super excited about that aspect of things. And so in terms of an IDO, a bit far out there, but it's coming in stages. We just had the first land sale. The next one's going to come, and I'll keep you guys posted as to when that happens. And but keep an eye on it. NETVRK. It's so hard to spell, but just say it like a bad guy, and you're about to kill John McClane. NETVRK. I don't know in terms of token value, where it goes and what its use in terms of its value. But certainly the land, it's just like Decentraland in terms of its value. Yeah, it's gone up, but the land value is what we're talking about here. It's like much like saying ETH has gone up. It's gone up over the year. But the NFT, the Bored Ape that you bought with it, that is through the roof. And so that is the play here. So instead of saying like, hey guys, go get this IDO and it's going to drop and it's going to 100x, and maybe, but I think this part of the game is more about the land that can be purchased. And that's why, and again, the NFT space is so exciting because it gives you the access to the valuable bits of these worlds. And so beyond just IDO, we're talking about land sale, which has the potential to explode in the short term in terms of value, because I think everyone's tuning into this space now, man. This is getting crazy. Like I started to like mess around and like wanted to share sort of a couple of avatar projects and why I think this is going to play well into the metaverse and what we can do as creators. But there's a lot more eyes in this space, and that means a lot more value is going to come. So we're not just talking about NFT drops here. We're talking about massive, again, generational wealth through the use of digital land. So there's my soapbox, but I'm going to get off it right now because I want to talk about Mutant Ape Project. We were looking at Bored Ape Yacht Club, and we're like, why is it mooning? took a look, and so they created these serums. I think it's about 5,000 of the original. You could take the mutant serum, and I was like freaked out because I was like, oh my god, you're gonna destroy. Because obviously coming off of we talked about with degens and how to bring value to a project by burning, by which we can talk about maybe a little tomorrow, but by burning and by creating within the existing collection variations, and here you have a great play on one. So this is why you can get a serum, and instead of it changing your original NFT, it's just going to give you a variation, which is super cool, on your existing NFT, creating a second NFT, which many people sold immediately because I don't know, aesthetically, it's one of those. It's just tough to look at. I think Bored Apes is like right on for me, just like right on the edge of like, is this cool? Is this like just so damn apathetic that I don't connect with it? But about half of the apes, I'm like, oh, those are cool. But the other half, I'm like, I don't know if I'd collect that. And this really puts that over into the next realm, looking at these things. And so you have just I think the VRE sort of see-through guy, I mean that came out pretty cool, but it's pretty grotesque, and that is a certain style of art that you can come to appreciate. Now look, that's at 3.3. The floor being definitely not as high as a regular ape. Does this present incredible value to get in on the Bored Ape Yacht Club Discords? Yeah, this is insanely good value to become part of that community, if that's what you want. So what they've created is an ability for people who missed the train, missed the boat, to get in. And it's it's just another way for them to add value to their existing community, because that person just made $10,000 if somebody buys it at 3.3. And so that's just like a free drop. I don't know if they had to buy the serum, maybe, but it's just like a drop that essentially you can create value out of, minus minting fees and all that sort of good stuff. But you have given value, and you've also given access to your community for those who might feel like that they are not in at the moment. And I mean, pricing at 2.5, 2.7 is nuts, guys, for a Bored Ape Yacht Club. And because the look of them is a bit challenging, I think it's a really good opportunity to get involved with this space. And so I think it's really easy to start analyzing and looking and finding the rarities and saying like, oh well, there's some value associated with the rarity of this one. But it's it's just a matter of do you dig the look? I dig this guy with the suit. I think he's awesome. But it's just like it's tough to look at. It's a very grotesque variation on the project that might not suit a lot of people, and that gives you great value. That gives you the opportunity to get into Bored Ape Yacht Clubs at a fraction of what they're at right now. Especially after this, this experiment. And so that's the thing is like, I really brought you guys through the degens experiment, it happened about a week or so ago, of, making a burn within your own collection. And I found another deadheads. Not financial advice. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, because this is going to double this project's value. You saw what happened with Bored Apes. Even at that level, it tripled. The degens even doubled, maybe even tripled. The value tripled. And so, off the floor. And so, when looking at how this affects projects, it's predominantly positive. And so, again, not financial advice, but Deadheads. Maybe I'll try and see if I can. Do I have it in here? No, sorry guys, I don't. But Deadheads did a very quiet announcement on their Discord to, hey, look out, you might want to keep the one you didn't quite love in this project, and then did little flames, and so and then eventually they sort of we're gonna burn, and so they're gonna do the same thing where you're gonna be able to take sort of an aftermarket element and then also one of their original NFTs and create something new, and thereby burning the old one, thereby raising the value for the existing collection, as well as creating a new collection and so a new collectible. And I dig that space, and it's something that I think I might get involved in, because this is the time where everyone is like, oh, what's the next hot thing? What's the next hot thing? This is going to be so amazing, and they keep going from one project to the next like just a train. That I think in its wake you're gonna find some value. You're gonna find some value in I don't want to say the blue chip projects, but I think projects that are very, very good, very solid projects that have been growing organically and or just kind of tapering off. Like the floor right now is 0.22 for Deadheads, which is disastrous. For the project, it was just it was around 1 ETH, where you're just about the floor was maybe 1 ETH. When you had Gary V, pumping it or mentioning it, you have, an equity of organic growth, because you have the pump, and when the pump comes down, it sucks for a lot of people, and a lot of people want to get out of those because they need liquidity to get into Onis. They need liquidity to get into the sevens. And so they start selling, and they start selling things that perhaps aren't exactly the floor, but they're going to sell at the floor. So you could pick up a significant rarity or something that you think looks cool. So keep an eye out on existing properties that have made a splash already, that have value, that perhaps have a solid community. Visit those Discords, hang out on Twitter and talk to the creators and figure out, this might have been a long-term thing that you were thinking about before, but you got priced out. Well, this might be the great time to review those, because there's a lot of opportunity. And I'm pissed that Hash Masks already pumped. Who was it? Can anybody put in the comments, please? Who was it that mentioned Hash Mask and pumped the hell out of them? I was trying to get some of the ones that I was really Hash Mask has just been one of those weird obsessions, from the beginning of this space for me. And I was just I've narrowed down the exact ones that I want to get within the collection, and they were starting to come down. And I could see there's this one dude who has one that I really want. He was just you could tell he was maybe putting it up for sale. It was dropping his price from 100 ETH. He's maybe 75 ETH. And so you can tell the desire to get liquidity for other projects was starting to have an effect on those projects. But then Gary V or somebody, who is it? Please put them into the comment section, and who blew up Hash Mask, because now Hash Mask are 5 times what they were again. And but yeah, look at and even share. This is not the biggest community yet, and like I said, sadly for you guys who are watching this 6 months in the future, I'm sorry. If you would just like and subscribe and hit the bell notification here on the channel, you're going to get this stuff when it's actually cogent, when the IDO is dropping, yesterday and today, and when the the next sale is coming up in 2 weeks, and when Sevens is going to be dropping August 7th, and when the reveal stage is going to happen for Cabones in 5 days. It's going to be nice to know. This is why I do this live. when this stuff is important to know, and that's why I'm not doing guides on how to do a MetaMask wallet stuff. There's other guides for that. There's other way cleaner cut people to check that stuff out with, and they've guided me. So check them out. Subscribe to them because they got a lot of good content. But I'm trying to bring the stuff that I think is interesting and super, super timely. So please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.